Hey there, everybody. Robert Taylor with Wonderscape Creations, starting a new series here. It will be a slow moving series for the simple fact that it's a very important series, but it's also something that is very slow. And that's probably why it's not really touched on YouTube, and it's over optimization. Now, obviously, you can Google and do YouTube searches for how to optimize Unreal Engine 5. And there's some really good stuff in there for finding where your optimization issues are. But what they don't really touch on is how do you fix those optimization issues. There's a couple that go over how to simplify lighting, how to make lighting cheaper, and unfortunately, most of those are disable lumen. And the reason why a lot of us are in Unreal Engine 5 is for lumen. Um, so lighting, if I do touch it, will be near the end. I'm still learning that part. But if any of you guys have been following me since I first started my YouTube channel, you're very familiar with my understanding of materials. So that's where I'm going to be starting, is I'm going to show you how to optimize materials, then optimization and open world stuff through data layers and having things load in and load out in proper portion sizes and all of that stuff. Um, so, I mean, like I said, I realized that it wasn't being done when, I'm doing all of these weapons that are right here. And the reason I'm doing all of this is because I've got 160 weapons that will make it into my game. Um, and the problem that I see with games like Unreal Engine that are coming out is the biggest complaint is optimization. Uh, Chief among them being loading and hitching. Now I'm sure you've noticed as I was going to the right, because I hadn't actually come to this side yet, there was some stuttering because I haven't gotten to these materials yet. Um, and that's because all of these, I shouldn't say all of them, a large portion of them each have their own individual material. Not material instance, material. Now you may be wondering what the difference is. Well, like I said, there's 160 weapons here. And if all 160 of them have their own materials, then that means I need 160 shaders to compile them. However, if I have all of these weapons under one material, now all 160 of them are compiled with one shader. Let that sink in a little bit, because right now everyone's focusing, as the CEO of Epic has pointed out, they're focusing on making their game great, and most of us are working on high-end PCs, so we don't notice the performance problems. However, if you look at the older cards, they need more time for shader heavy games. So that's where we'll be starting. I'll be showing you um, the methods that I use to condense things, because I have like 8 different asset packs here, um, where I'm pulling all of these weapons, but they're all going to be under one material. Now you're going to run into times where you can't have all of the materials under, I mean, material instances under one material. And what I mean by that is, if we come up here to this creepy looking alien bug thing here, you can clearly see that we got some shiny eyeballs. And it doesn't go at all with the rest of the shield. So I had to use a completely different material instance. If I go here, I have a weapon translucent. So anything that requires translucency, I now have a master material for it. Everything else goes into this. Um, because the translucency is used for this right here. Um, but thankfully, not for this right here, these diamonds. Um, Now, over time, obviously, I'll be making more changes to the material to make things even more optimized. But right now, the biggest optimization success we can get is getting all 160 of these weapons under one material. So once we're done with it, with understanding how to optimize materials for meshes, um, and I'll show you my uh, my material that I have that I use and walk through it so that you guys can utilize it yourself if you want. Because there is one thing that is thankfully almost 100% universal with weapons, and that's how the textures are all set up with masks. Now, if they're not, Unreal Engine has a couple of plugins that make it to where we can make these textures into masks, further optimizing our materials. So we'll be going through all of that over the next several videos. And once we're done with that, we'll jump into level designing when you're in an open world, things to look out for, and actually how to properly utilize the systems and events to make things load and unload and keep them in small enough chunks that make loading faster, easier, and streamlined. Um, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you look forward to the next one where we dive into very boring but extremely important optimization series. Have a great day.